Hey everybody out there, it's your host Andrew Lenz of Let's Talk But No Politics, okay? Coming to you on the Helium Radio Network. So today I'm going to continue with the tiering ranking, and I'm going to go a little old school here with, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going just NES games. So, I've played some of these, I've rented some of these, some I haven't, but I'm going to go by how I felt by him as a kid once again, and how I feel about him as an adult. And I started an NES collection. I do have some games, and then there's some games that I wanted as a kid, didn't get. I have them now as an adult, and I'm very happy I did not have them as a kid as well. So, uh, that one game being Skate or Die. I actually have it right here next to me. My son was playing it yesterday. As you can see, it's marked. I picked it up for $2. It was very rough. I don't know how well I had to clean that out. As you can see, it's marked. Nothing too great, but it was $2. It was a game I wanted as a kid. Picked it up as an adult, and as I start this collection, it's more or less. How do I say? I don't care about the quality of how the game looks in a way, as long as the label is mostly there and the game is playable. And that's how I want it in my collection. So I just started my collection. Or I got really serious probably just over the last couple of years, or actually over the last year, Nintendo wise, working on Super Nintendo. Got some good PS1, PS2 games, but most of those are just pure like arcade classic hits where I'm playing games that I would have played on the Atari 2600 on PS2. And then also, if you are on the YouTube channel, I play Chrono Trigger, and I've done 2 episodes of that, and the 2 Point Conversation Tecmo Super Bowl season. So, enough about that. Let's get into some NES games. All right. I'm just going to go. First, I'm going to go with the ones that I really know. I really know and really understand. Castlevania. Where do the rankings? Masterpiece, great game, good game. Meh, okay. Not that good. And not that good. And I don't think I'm going to have too many in there. Because I think even if it's a bad game, it still is a good game in its own nostalgic way. So here we go. Castlevania, I'm going to say is a masterpiece. This is a game that when I was a kid captivated me. It was a little bit harder. I didn't get very far in it. I rented it maybe once. My friend had it, so I would say my friend, but at that time he was more like uh my friend's brother, but he was still a friend. It's like a whole, everybody's friends with that family. My dad grew up with his dad. I don't want to get into too much more, but it's something that I watch people play. I enjoyed, and it was just so cool the way that it was. The whole monsters, the whip. It was different. It wasn't a gun. You had a whip and different weapons, and you went through, and you were hunting Dracula. So it was very interesting. And still, as an adult, I'm looking for a decently priced copy of it, so that way I can add it to my collection. But this is something that I consider a masterpiece, top tier, 100%. Another one, this I do have in my collection in Double Dragon 2. I'm going to put this. I'm going to put it in great games. I'm not going to say it was a masterpiece because it's the sequel, and it's not. I don't. I still think the original Double Dragon will always kind of out trump the second one a little bit, but this was a game that I thought out. Uh, when I was like, hey, I want to play old Nintendo games. And I had this as a kid, and I played it constantly with my brother. And that's all. It was probably the one game that we could play simultaneously, other than sports games, and we could do that we actually owned together. So it was always cool because he could do it. There's a jump in the second level that I could never make. I can make it now as an adult, and he would always have to make the jump for me because if I made the jump, I'd fall short, and then he'd yell at me because I lost a life, and then we couldn't get far enough. You know how it is with older brother, younger brother, dynamic scenarios, everything like that. If you have an older, or younger sibling, and it's a great game. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece because I don't see too many people going, "Hey, Double Dragon 2, it's awesome." In my mind, it's on the borderline of masterpiece just because of what it meant to me in a nostalgia factor as a child, and that's what it means to me in there. And that's what kind of and that's what also kind of holds it back because a lot of this stuff I want to be sentimental, but then I want to be kind of realistic. So it is borderline masterpiece for me. And here we go. You know what? I'm just gonna go with this one. Dr. Mario. Not good at all. I hated Dr. Mario. I didn't think I would have anything and not good at all. I literally hated Dr. Mario as a kid. Dr. Mario was absolutely horrible. Horrible as a kid. I hated it. It wasn't good. I don't want it around. Uh, can we just please get rid of Dr. Mario altogether? Uh, excuse me one second. I don't edit videos, but I will have to, boom, take that out. Okay. Just going to make that smaller. All right. So here we go. Where else we got? DuckTales. Oh, masterpiece. Great game. I'm going to go great game. It is a fun game. I love DuckTales, the cartoon. I want to say it's a masterpiece. It is a great game. Just the gameplay, everything else. I don't know why it reminds me a little bit of Mega Man in a way, and it is just an absolute great game. Another game that I'm searching for, looking for, trying to um, find to add to my collection as well. So that is one of the coolest things that I'm looking for. But as a kid, I played it mostly as a kid. It was like a rented game. Watched a family friend beat it. It was awesome. So that is where DuckTales is because as a kid I mostly watched people beat games as a younger child. Uh, Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I own this. This is one of the first games along with Double Dragon I sought out. This is when I was first looking for it, it was very hard to find. And then when I did find it, the price was crazy in my mind because I didn't realize that, you know, as a kid, you don't realize a whole lot of things. Like when he got into his incident, that it was like, shut it down. Just shut it down. We're done. It's over with. We're no more Mike Tyson's Punch Out. We'll just go back to Punch Out. So it was kind of hard to find. And when I did find it, I found it for a good price. And the minute I found it for a good price, I pretty much bought it because that's how much I love Mike Tyson's Punch. I do have gameplay of Mike Tyson's Punch Out on the YouTube channel as well. So go check that out. It's it's awesome because it's a sports game, but it's not a sports game because you got to learn patterns and puzzles. It's very Zelda-ish, I would say, or more video game-ish than just uh going out beating the crap out of somebody like in Fight Night or any of those ones. This you actually have to watch. Watch for the flash for King Hippo. Watch the mustache twitch for Von Kaiser. Watch the jewel. You you're constantly you constantly have to pay attention, and I think it's just an absolute masterpiece of a game. I know a lot of people might get upset. Some people might get upset. Some people not might not, but it's an absolute masterpiece of a game. Let's see what else we got here. This- Tech Mobile. I play Tecmo Super Bowl. I also own Tech Mobile. Uh, on the NES. I played the 2 Point Conversation Tecmo Super Bowl season. You can check that out on the Let's Talk But No Politics OK YouTube channel, and also at the 2 Point Conversation page. So if you're into football, go check out the 2 Point Conversation. Tecmo Bowl is a great game because it, it probably would have been a masterpiece in my mind if Tecmo Super Bowl didn't come out. What's keeping Tecmo Bowl back is I believe it's only the teams that made the 87 playoffs. Also, there's the players' names, but there's no team logos. There's the team names, but there's no team logos. Also, it's pretty much 8 on 8, and it's 4 plays. But it did make a football game simpler and better. Here I am saying, uh, it is. It was easier to play than John Elway's football. It was easier to play than, say, any probably football game on the Atari 2600 in my mind. It was easier to play. I never played 10-Yard Fight or that other football game because this came out and it was like, wow, okay, we need to get this. So I didn't really play those. I did play John Elway football. That was hard. It was complicated. Even the arcade, it was hard and complicated with that weird stick thing for kicking field goals. This was easy. This was simplified. This was fun. It was a realistic, fun arcade football game. And that's what the developers were shooting for, and that's what they got. So that's why I would list it as a great game. Let's go another masterpiece. Zelda. Boom. Zelda is a masterpiece game. This game, the gold cart, the open world scenario of everything. Did not own this as a child. I own it now. Uh, Another one that I had to search for. The gray carts are kind of, I think, cheaper than the gold carts. So, but I wanted the gold cart, and I got the gold cart. But this is a game where, like I said, it's open world. It's very expansive. You have to know things and try not to go too far ahead of yourself before you get to certain spots, or that spot's going to be it's going to be harder. But then if you go to a spot that it brought into that RPG. I know there's probably other RPGs before that, or action RPGs, but it brought into that element that you couldn't just run and gun through a game. You had to have kind of a strategy. You had to look at things. You had to figure out where a sword was, where the heart containers were to help you get more life. Uh, I have a family friend that drew maps for this because there was no Nintendo. There was like Nintendo Power, but it wasn't until later on. And he actually drew maps, and he has hand drawn maps of Hyrule. And that is awesome in my mind. And this was just an awesome game because it was an adventure. You went on an adventure. Like I said, it wasn't run and gun, it wasn't shoot 'em up, it wasn't a beat 'em up. It was an adventure. And that's what made it so great in my mind. Another game, I own this one. I don't own the other two. Masterpiece, Super Mario Brothers 3. I don't think I think it is a masterpiece. Just it's the play opening. Uh, and this came out when Nintendo still ruled the world. So that's what also keeps it very fresh and clear in my mind when this game came out. Uh, the the play, the mini games through there, the special new power ups, all that stuff was amazing. You wanted those. You wanted to play it. You wanted the warp whistle. What also makes it iconic too is the movie The Wizard, where they play it at the end. That also what makes it iconic as well. So that is just something that's absolutely amazing about Super Mario Brothers 3. Super Mario Brothers 2. I'm gonna put it as a great game because Super Mario Brothers 2 in America isn't the real Super Mario Brothers 2. It is a reface, reskin of a game called, I'm gonna probably butcher it, Okie Dokie Panic. The game historian does a great documentary on it because the real second Mario was way too hard. So they were like, hey, do this. But is it a great game? Or change it over to this Okie Dokie Panic game. Is it a great game? Yes. Is it a masterpiece? No, I don't have that many great memories with it. So that's why it kind of doesn't hit into the quite the masterpiece. But then again, Double Dragon 2 is on the borderline of masterpiece. So when I'm looking at this, it's definitely a great game. It's fun to play, but it's not a masterpiece. The original Super Mario Brothers, in my mind, is a masterpiece. It is because this was the game. Uh, Nintendo was. I felt like they were like, we're gonna hitch our wagon to this game. This game is gonna be amazing. This game is gonna be great, and that's what we're gonna do. Mario is our mascot. At this point, Donkey Kong was pretty much Nintendo's mascot until Mario came along, and that is the one great thing about it is if you had I know I what did I get? We got the action pack. So we got Mario Duck Hunt Zapper, two controllers. You don't get two controllers nowadays. I don't think you get half of the stuff you got with like a Nintendo action pack the way that you did back then. But it was amazing to play this game and the way that it looked coming off of playing an Atari 2600. A lot of people now would be like, a lot of kids now would probably be like, oh, this isn't that great. But play an Atari 2600 for years and then get a Nintendo Entertainment System and see what you think about it. Here's a game that I own, recently found out about, and it's fun. It's a great game. I wouldn't say it could almost be a good game, but it's a great game, and it's not a masterpiece. It's Star Tropics. It's like an American Zelda. Not as open world as Zelda, but very Americanized. You know, the guy's name is Mike Jones. He plays baseball. There's a Cola Island, but you get a submarine, a little cameo by Rob the Robot, and everything else. So I mean, it's a really fun game. If you get a chance, check it out, play it. If or unless you played it as a kid or playing it now, I enjoy it. I gotta kind of restart everything back up. Let's see what we got. Contra. I won't put Contra in masterpiece. For some reason, I feel like Contra. You know what? I'm gonna put it in a great game in my mind because I think everything is based on the Contra code or the Konami code. But it was fun. It was run and gun. Many different levels, checking out different things. You know, there's shifts into like a 3D level. It does that. This is a game that I rented, did not own as a kid. Still kind of looking for it now, but I think it's a great game, not a masterpiece. Excite Bike. It is a good game. If you would have asked me when I was a child, I would have told you this was a masterpiece. Absolute greatest game, one of the greatest games ever made. But now, as an adult, as a child, a Psych Bike does have its good points. You know, the bike overheating, you can make your own track, but it doesn't get past good game in my mind anymore. Would I buy this if I saw this at a decent price? Yes, I would, because Excite Bike was fun for me. Excite Bike was exciting. and the way that you could do the jumps, you fall off your bike, run back, bike overheat. There's many different things that you didn't see in video games today that you would definitely, or back then that you would see today in video games. So it was different. So that's why it's a good game. It's not a great game. It's not a masterpiece. It's not meh. Okay. Ninja Gaiden. I don't even know how you want to say it. However you want to say it. I'm gonna put it in good games. It was a fun game. It was. It was fun. It was hard, but it was still fun, even though it was hard. And that's why I put it right where it is, right there. Great and great games. It's not a masterpiece. Not a masterpiece by any means necessary. Uh, the absolute original Mario Brothers, not Mario Brothers. I'm gonna put it in good game. It's different. It's not what you expect. Uh, so, if you've ever played it, you know what it is. You bop turtles as they come out. Uh, Different things. Very different from Super Mario Brothers. I never played this on the NES. I've only ever played it on uh, what is that? The Atari 2600. It escaped my mind. But that is something that is definitely, I think whatever system it is on it, it is what it is. It's one of those games. It is what it is. Final Fantasy, I'm not a Final Fantasy guy, but I'm going to put it in a masterpiece because I love the story behind Final Fantasy. Is that uh, Squaresoft or Square was about to go under. So they figured this was going to be the last game that they were going to publish. They weren't going to publish any more games. And so that's why they called it Final Fantasy. It ended up being a massive hit, saving the company. So if anything can save a company just off of one game, you have to put it in a masterpiece. That's why I do it. I'm not a Final Fantasy guy. I don't think I've ever really played any Final Fantasy game, but I respect the franchise when it comes to video games. Definitely respect the franchise. Okay. Only a couple more here. Zelda 2. It's a good game. It's not that it's open. It's a little open world. But it to me it doesn't have that same feel of Zelda. I think they tried to go something new, tried to go something different. Didn't quite work out. New Coke flavor kind of deal, and that is where it definitely ended off right there. So that's where I'm gonna only put in a good game. And I think what we got? Gotta look at the timer. I only got a half an hour with you guys, so uh, um, I don't think I have any other ones that I really. Mega Man 2, we'll put in great game. Never really played it, but I played Mega Man 1. Still up there. Great game. Tetris. If you tell me if it's on the Game Boy, I'm going to put it on Master. I'm going to put a great game. Two games that I played constantly on the Game Boy. Game Boy is my favorite gaming console of all time, or handheld, whatever you want to do. Video game system. Tetris and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Follow the Foot Clan, followed by Dick Tracy. So that right there is what I'm gonna put at great games because I played this for hours. And when you play something for hours, it's got to be a great game. And I think, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Donkey Kong Jr. I remember when my brother got his Nintendo. He got Donkey Kong Jr. You know, you always get like an extra game sometimes. Like, hey, I know it comes with Mario and Donkey Kong, but you need an extra game. So we got Donkey Kong. Well, he got Donkey Kong Jr. I don't have many memories with it, but it was a good game. It was fun, and that's what matters the most about it. Is that's exactly what it was. It was a good game and it was fun. And that's what you need. So with that being said, I'm going to go down the list of all the games. Masterpieces. Castlevania, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Bros. Final Fantasy. Great games. Double Dragon 2, DuckTales. I almost said Duck Hunt. Great game. Tecmo Bowl, Super Mario Brothers 2, Star Tropics, Contra, Ninja Gaiden. I'm saying it both ways. Mega Man 2, and Tetris. Good games. Excite Bike, Mario Brothers, The Adventures of Link, Zelda 2. There you go. And Donkey Kong Jr. And I don't really have any in. They are okay. And not good at all. Probably one of my most hated games of all time is Dr. Mario. With that being said, please go check out the Let's Talk But No Politics. Okay, YouTube channel, Facebook, we're on Instagram. New episodes every Sunday on the BICBP Radio Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. There, and if you're listening on the Helium Radio Network, Helium Radio, every Friday, 7 p.m. Come check it out. Listen to the podcast. Let me be your member berries and everything else. If you want to be on the show, have ideas for the show, or anything like that, please email me at letstalk716@gmail.com, and I'll be more than welcome to read your emails, see what's going on. If you want to be on the show, let me know. And with that being said, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.